devil's advocate here. I want to go ahead and tune everybody in to this article that was published by the Lancet. It kind of slipped through the cracks. And so this is not too old, September 1st, 2021. And this is a research paper, right? This, as you can see, I'll scroll down, but I'm not going to go and read through all the details. I'm going to put a link in the description below so that you can read it for yourself. It's highly detailed. There is a lot of information in it. And me going through all that in a YouTube video is going to bore the hell out of everybody. So this is just kind of like a quick update of a very extensive study done that showed that in this study that the group of people maintained a very strong natural immunity resistance to COVID over a year after a natural infection. And I know that this kind of study, the mainstream media is not even going to look at it. It's going to get swept under the rug, and people are going to try to divert. Now, given the fact that if you scroll down, you're going to go through all this. If you go through all this, it does tell you that in conclusion, they do believe that if you were naturally infected and you got one vaccine shot, right? One shot of the vaccine, that you would be even better protected, right? You'd even be better protected. So I'm not saying, so again, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and I'm not sitting here telling anybody that they shouldn't get the vaccine. All I'm saying, my whole point and my argument has always been, there's no justifiable grounds for forcing people to get this damn vaccine, for making healthcare workers choose between putting food on a table and getting a shot or walking away because they're uncomfortable with putting something in their body. We're not at that. That is not where we are. We are not in that kind of a situation where those types of measures need to be taken. A lot of people have caught COVID and recovered from COVID. There should be a titer test out there available where people can get their immunity proven, that they have a proven immunity, and that should be sufficient enough for any establishment. If you can prove your immunity, you don't have to get the COVID vaccine. That should be fair. But they don't want this, so that's how you know that this is all political. That's how you know this is all political. Where there are methods to test for titers. You know how I know that they could test for immunity? Because blood banks were testing for it. They stopped it around June or July. But prior to June or July, if you were donating blood, they were taking blood samples at blood donation banks because they wanted to try to collect the antibodies. So that's how. So they will let you know that once you donated blood, they're like, oh yeah, you were COVID positive and you have immunity. But guess what? Somewhere towards the middle of the year, they stopped reporting it. And this is anecdotal information for people I was getting this information from. Say, hey, I got some buddies who were getting their blood. They were getting results back saying that they had a natural immunity. Oh yeah, they stopped doing that around the middle of the year. I was like, oh, well, that's convenient. You know why they stopped doing that in the middle of the year? Because they don't want you to know that you're immune. They don't want you to have that convenience of knowing that you're immune. They're going to leave you in the dark so they can make you go get that shot. Because this is all politically driven. Like if your natural immunity wasn't good enough, why would they be trying to collect the natural immunity from the blood of the people who have been infected? You know what I'm saying? So that's how you know all this stuff is garbage. And here's a study that supports, hey, look, if you've been infected and you recovered, then you don't need to get the vaccine. Getting one shot of the vaccine could be beneficial. It could boost you up, give you an edge. But even without it, the odds of you getting severely sick from COVID are negligible. It's not that serious. And there you have it. Like, our approach to this whole thing, this is how, like, you start, when you start connecting the dots and you start painting the picture that makes a little bit more sense, it becomes easier and easier to understand that none of this from the very beginning was ever about the science. It was never about keeping people safe. It was never about saving lives. Now, maybe at the very beginning, when this was all brand new to everybody, you could argue that certain measures and protocols be put in place to save American lives. But once you start treading 3, 4, 5 months into it, it started becoming very clear, very quick, that the agenda was no longer about saving lives. It was about controlling people. Now, us conspiracy theories knew this from the very beginning, that this was all about control, and that none of this made sense, and none of it passed the smell test from the very beginning. But even if you want to play devil's advocate and make a fair argument that some of these things at the beginning were in the best interest of the American people, I could buy that for a little while. But now, given where we are today, over a year later, it is clear that this has absolutely nothing to do with science, has absolutely nothing to do with protecting people. And this has everything to do with getting you to bend to the will of the federal government. And that is it. Oh, we can't make you legally get a vaccine, but guess what? We could put mandates in place where your place of employment can fire you. They can keep you from getting a job, or they could terminate your job because they're going to have to, or they're going to risk getting a fine imposed on them. We can do that. And I said it before. This is not even about the vaccine anymore. This is about getting the general public comfortable and conditioned with the idea of submitting to something and doing something that they don't want to do and doing it anyways. And that's called compliance. Willful compliance. So either you do it because you want to and you do it willingly, or you do it with resistance. Compliance is compliance. If you do it, then they don't care. They don't care if you do it with a smile on your face, or they don't care if you do it and you cry yourself to sleep at night. They don't give a damn. As long as you do it. That's how they know that they've got it under control. This is, like I told you, this entire thing is a preliminary test. It's a preliminary test to see how much resistance that they get from the general public as a whole, to figure how far they can push their agenda. With enough pushback to be, okay, the water's still too hot. We can't go too far yet because we still got too much resistance out there. But they're going to try to keep beating you down. They're going to try to keep beating you down. But as long as we've got people, and we do have some, and this is good. I'm seeing more and more of it. People are waking up. As long as we got people, brave people, who are willing to do the research, willing to do the science, willing to track things and say, look, no, this is not how this goes. This is not, I'm a medical expert, and my job as a medical expert or a medical doctor or a virologist is to be a person in a position that's always in the best interest of the person. My field is science, not politics. And the science tells me, our research tells us, that anybody infected with this virus and has recovered has strong natural immunity from what we know, for at least right around a year. And it would benefit them to get a shot, a vaccine shot. But is it mandatory? Should it be mandated that everybody gets this shot even if they recovered naturally from COVID? Absolutely fucking not. That's it. I'm out of here. Like I said, I'm going to link this article in the description below. It's lengthy, but it's full of detail. And all of your freaking friends out there who try to tell you that natural immunity is some kind of conspiracy theory or unsubstantiated or some type of hoax, you need to let them read this, because this is very extensive and it's very detailed. And this is just the latest of a handful of articles of doctors trying to come out there and do the right thing and try to curb all this hysteria over absolutely nothing. And that's what it is. It's over absolutely nothing. With that said, until next time, take care of yourself, be safe, stay smart, use your brain. Peace.